What's going on, PokeMoshPit? I go by the name TheLastTaquito here on YouTube, and I'm bringing you here my first and most likely only upload to this channel, so I hope you guys enjoy this battle I'm bringing you guys. So anyways, I'm going to be leading off with the Choice Specs Raikou while she leads off with the Uxie, and right away I was thinking she would try to set up her Stealth Rex turn 1, so I'm going to go for the Choice Specs Thunderbolt to attempt a 2-hit KO since I'm Specs. But instead she went for the trick and tricked me a Scarf, and she gets my Specs in return. And that really doesn't bug me that much because that kind of makes my Raikou more a revenge killer than a heavy hitter. So it isn't really a problem for my Raikou being scarfed. So I'm just going to continue going for the Thunderbolts, and now she switched out into a Grass Form Rotom. And I actually get a crit, but I still did like absolutely no damage to this Rotom at all. So here I'm forced to switch out because I'm locked into Thunderbolt, so I'm going to go into my Meganium. And he predicts my switch, went for the Will-O-Wisp, probably attempting to cripple one of my physical sweepers if I brought in one of them. So here, I'm just going to set up the light screen to weaken the Rotom's attacks on my Meganium, because that's going to boost the special defense on my Meganium and the rest of my team for like a couple turns. And here, she switched out her Rotom and brought in the Uxie, and there's still a chance that the Uxie might go for the trick and cripple my Meganium, and she most likely won't do that, probably set up her Stealth Rocks, but I really can't risk that because my Meganium is the team supporter of my team, and I really can't risk her being crippled, so I'm going to just switch out just in case she decides to go for the trick. And she did, and she just set up her Stealth Rocks, which is okay. So here I'm just going to go for the Volt Chains to get a switch advantage on her because she has to switch out since she's locked into the rocks. And she didn't switch out, so I'm guessing she wasn't really paying attention at the beginning of the battle and realized she got the Choice Specs. So that's kind of sucks for her, so I'm just going to take advantage of this, bring in my Tentacruel. And I got a free turn, so I'm going to take this turn and set up a layer of Toxic Specs for my team. And she decides to switch out now and brings in the Politoed and sets up Infinite Rain for her team. So I'm guessing her team is some sort of Rain Dance team or something around those lines. And I really find no reason to switch out on the Politoed because a Politoed can't really do anything to a Tentacruel. I resist like it's boiling water, ice beam, toxic and stuff. So I'm just going to go for the Rapid Spin and spin those rocks away while she brings in her Grass Form Rotom on my Tentacruel. And here I'm just going to have to switch out my Tentacruel because, you know, it's a Rotom. It's Staff Thunderbolt. I'm weak to it. My Light Screen wore off this turn, so it's going to do a huge amount of damage if I let my Tentacruel stay in. So I'm just going to switch in my Meganium on the predicted Thunderbolt, but instead she went for the rest, which I find like kind of odd because there really isn't a reason for her to go for the rest because she's like at almost full health. She has no toxic or burn, so I'm assuming that was some sort of a misclick on her part. And here I went for the Lead Seed because I was predicting her to switch. I really wasn't expecting this Rotom to be Sleep Talk, even though I saw the rest. So that was kind of a failed play on my part. I should have seen that coming. And I just pretty much gave this Rotom one turn to burn off her 3-turn sleep, so yeah, that kind of sucked for me. And here she just keeps going for the Sleep Talk and keep getting rest, which kind of sucks for her. And I just went for the Aromatherapy because this burn is really starting to get on my nerves. It's really annoying me at this point. And here her Rotom's finally going to wake up this turn, but I'm not going to switch out Meganium just yet. Before I switch out Meganium, I'm going to go for the Light Screen. And that's pretty much going to make this Thunder not do like any damage at all. I'm just going to recover off the Thunder damage with leftovers if she decides to stay in. So she's most likely going to switch out. So I'm also going to switch out myself. I'm just going to bring in my Raikou because my Raikou is Scarf, Timid, and Max Speed. So that pretty much means my Raikou is going to outspeed anything he switches in. And if it's a bad matchup for my Raikou, I could always just Volt Change out of there and do some damage before I leave. And so she brought in a Repulsion, and that's not a good matchup for me. So like I said, I'm just going to Volt Change out of there, do some damage, and bring in an appropriate counter. But I really don't have much to take hits from a Repulsion, so the best thing I have is this dragon. I don't know its name. I'm just going to call it Digimons because it's actually pretty physically defensive. So yeah, I take that Rock Slide, I guess, decently, I guess. And here, since that Repulsions are really slow, my dragon is going to outspeed and hit him with the Dragon Claw. That's going to almost take it out. While the Repulsion hits me with the Drain Punch, it's going to gain some health, but also it's also going to get some Rough Skin recoil, and also my item Rugged Helmet is going to give it some recoil. And then the Poison's going to kick in, and with all those recoils and stuff, that Repulsion is pretty much dead. So yay for the recoil damages. So now she's going to bring in a Kingdra. And you know, my Digimons is really weak, and it's like at 33 HP. And you know, it's not really too useful for me, so I'm just gonna let it die. I'm just gonna go for the Sucker Punch to do some damage before I die. And the Kindra's just gonna finish me off with a Dragon Pulse. So now I have a free switch in. There's no Stealth Rocks on the field. This is the perfect chance to bring in my signature Pokemon, Lil Aron. And yes, that is a level 1 Aron, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just gonna go for the Endeavor because that's what my Lil Aron's supposed to do. So yeah, she switched down to a Uxie. He's gonna bring it down to 12 HP. And I'm just gonna go for the Protect to see what this Uxie is gonna try to do. And I went for the Trick, trying to cripple my Lil Aron. Are you? So yeah, I'm just gonna switch out, go into my Raikou on the Trick, and I'm just gonna get my choice specs back, so I don't have a Revenge Killer anymore. I have a Heavy Hitter, what it was supposed to be at the very beginning. So yeah, now that I got my choice specs, I'm just gonna go for the Volt Change, predicting a switch so I could get a switch advantage. And he brings in the Rotom again, and that's not gonna do too much to it because it resistant and is really bulky as well. So I'm just gonna Volt Change into a little Aron because I get another switch advantage. And here I'm going to predict him to go into Uxie to take the Endeavor. So I'm going to switch out myself, go into my Hitmontop so I could pursue the Uxie to death so it doesn't annoy me anymore. But instead of switching, he just went for the Will-O-Wisp. And, you know, I kind of crippled my Hitmontop, which kind of sucked, you know. So here, I'm just going for the Fake Out for some reason. I just wanted to see how much it would do. And that was pretty much a dumb idea because I'm just going to take some Life Orb Recoil and some burn damage. So I'm pretty much going to lose more health than the Rotom did. So that was pretty bad play for me. And here I'm just going to switch out. I'm going to go into my Meganium because this Rotom really can't do anything to my Meganium. It could go for the Thunder. It's not going to do too much. I could always just set up my Light Screen and stuff. And here, instead of setting up Light Screen, I'm just going to go for the Aromatherapy to cure my Hitmontop of its burn, and you know, so my Hitmontop could be useful in this battle again. So I'm just going to go for the Aromatherapy. Well, he switches out and brings in Kingdra again, and I'm just like, what should I do? What should I do? There's a Kingdra here. I really don't have much Pokemon to take hits from this thing, so I'm just gonna let my Meganium die, so I can have a free turn to bring in Lil Aron again. So yeah, I'm just gonna sacrifice my Meganium to this Kingdra, and now I'm just gonna bring in Lil Aron again. And I'm very sure that she's going to predict me to go for the Endeavor and switch into Uxie to take it. So I'm going to go straight for the tackle to finish off the Uxie right away. And then it actually survives. I'm like, wait, how is that possible? Your Uxie's at 1 HP. And then I'm like, oh, face palm. I remember when I used Endeavor on the Uxie, my Aron was actually at 12 HP, not 1. So yeah, that was a fail play on my part. So yeah, I brought in this Raikou on the Uxie. And I'm going to predict the switch into the Rotom. So I'm going to go right into the Hidden Power Ice. And that's going to be a 2-hit KO on this Rotom because this is a bulky one. But I actually get a crit this turn, and I take out the Rotom in 1 hit. So yeah, now she's going to bring in this, you know what, I don't even know the name. I'm just going to call it Jelly. And I'm just going to switch out because I'm going to try to keep my Raikou alive. Because if you look at her team thus far, my Raikou outspeeds everything except the Kingdra and threatens to 1-hit KO almost everything on her team. So I'm going to try to keep Raikou alive. And I'm going to bring in Mr. Cool. And I know my Tentacruel can't finish off this jelly thingy by itself. I'm going to lose to it eventually. But I'm just going to bring it in here. I'm just going to try to weaken it to the point where my Hitmontop can come in and go for the Pursuit, take it out even if it doesn't switch out. So yeah, I'm just going to weaken it some more and just let Tentacruel die and let my Hitmontop take it out. But then I actually get a crit with this Evil Eye, and that's really unfortunate for her. So she's going to go for a second Psychic, and that's not going to take me out either. I'm going to survive with 8 HP. And because of the crit I got with my other Evil Eye, this third one is going to finish it off. And you know, just to rub it in, this Evil Eye is also going to get a crit, so that's kind of like a way to rubbing it in. So yeah, down goes the Jelly, and now she's going to bring in her Kingdra. And you know, I'm just going to let Mr. Cool here die because, you know, I need a free switching into my Hitmontop for me to take out this Kingdra. And once Hitmontop comes in, I could do one of two things. I could go for a priority and take it out because this thing outspeeds me in the rain and could easily 1-hit KO me. Or I could predict this person to switch out, fearing their priority, and take it out with the Pursuit. But I don't want to risk her not switching out and then like just going for a Surf and taking me out. So I'm just gonna play it safe, go for some sort of priority. And turns out she actually did switch out into a Politoed, who takes that Fake Out pretty nicely. And here I'm just gonna switch out into my Raikou because this Politoed can't really hurt my Raikou at all. It could go for Boiling Water or Toxic or whatever it wants to do, and it's not even do too much damage. And I could just go for a Choice Specs Thunderbolt, and she's gonna have to sacrifice something in her team. It could be that Politoed or Kingdra or her Uxie or something. Something's gonna die no matter what. But it turns out she went for Boiling Water, got a crit and a burn. So Yeah, that's pretty bad luck for me because the burn's gonna actually take out my Raikou this turn, so that's kind of like a way of getting back at me for all the hacks I gave her throughout the battle. So yeah, she avenged herself, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna bring in little Aron, and I'm gonna go for the Endeavor this turn. And she saw that coming, went for the Uxie again, so, and I'm just gonna go for the Protect to see what she's planning to do. And she went for the Trick, so here I'm just gonna switch out and I'm gonna go into my Hitmontop to take the Trick. And since I'm Scarfed, once I get the Scarf, I'm gonna be able to outspeed this thing and go for the Pursuit. I'll speed it, or even if it's switched out, the Pursuit's gonna take it out anyways. So pretty much the only thing stopping my Aron from taking out the rest of her team is this Uxie. And I pretty much got this thing trapped with my Hitmontop. So yeah, I just pursued this Uxie to death, and now she's just gonna bring in her Politoed. So I'm just gonna keep going for the pursuit, and this person's just gonna keep going for the Boiling Waters. And it turns out her Boiling Waters are doing more damage than my pursuits, and looks like this Polito is gonna take out my Hitmontop. But you know, that really doesn't bug me at all because my last Pokemon is my Aron, my signature, my love, my pride, my everything. And that's actually all I need to win this battle. So yeah, the Polito takes out my Hitmontop, and I'm just gonna bring in my last one, my last Pokemon, my pride and joy, my little Aron. And the Polito decided to go for what's it called, the Parasol, because he knows even if it attacks me, I'm just gonna go for the Endeavor and I'm gonna get my health back. So yeah, I went for the Endeavor, and yeah, it takes it down to 12 HP, and the Poison's gonna finish it off. And now it's just gonna bring his final Pokemon, that Kingdra, and it's just gonna go for the Surf. I'm gonna survive thanks to my ability Sturdy. I'm gonna go for the Endeavor, and the Poison's gonna finish it off. So yeah, that was a good game. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you guys like my playstyle, which is kind of like gimmicky, using like fun Pokemon, make sure to check out my channel. So yeah, peace out, PokeMoshPit.